Food Slayers, it's Michelle here with today's public service announcement. I wanted to make a quick video because it is June and it is hot. I don't know where you live, but out here in the Pacific Northwest, on the West Coast in general, it has been hot these last couple of days, maybe a week, gotten up into the 90s in southern Oregon. Fire season has already begun. So, yeah, it's probably going to be a hot summer. And in fact, I wanted to make this video because I just released the episode on strawberries. If you haven't listened to that, check that out on foodslaying.com. And the reason why is because California is actually the largest United States grower of strawberries. And California is actually probably responsible for 80 to 90% of our vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. So what's happening right now is that California is feeling the drought again. And that's going to impact food production. It's already impacting farmers, planting out foods like melons, and they're tilling in asparagus because there's no water down there. And, these stories, a 2,000 acre farm in Firebaugh, wherever that is, California. I don't even know where that is, but I imagine it's in Southern California. It's not even sure it can produce crops, right, for this season. Typically, farmers in California get subsidies of water from the state, and this year they're expected to only get 5% of the water that they hope to get. So it's a big risk planting crops and hoping that the water gets there in time. And that is just a real situation and could have real serious impacts for what will be available this season and throughout the rest of the year. Not to mention, agriculture is, of course, a big part of California's economy. It's the top producer. Right here, you can see it, of vegetables, berries, nuts, and dairy products. It's tricky. 40% of California's 24.6 million acres of farmland are irrigated. And if there's a drought and a water shortage, yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. So that's really what I wanted to just share with you. California is facing another drought. When the water runs out, it runs out, which means that the irrigated farmland and all the crops associated with that, all the almond orchards, all the, vegetable crops and asparagus, crops that are growing there. This guy says it perfectly. If there's no water, there is no work, right? So there's externalities. If there's a drought, not only is there not any food being grown or produced, then that means no jobs for farm workers, right? How do farm workers support their families if there's no jobs for them? So, it's tricky. It's tricky. And I cannot tell you again for the bazillionth time. In fact, I can tell you, and I'm going to tell you for the bazillionth time, that you ought to consider growing some of your own food. Because the risk is, if you're relying on the grocery store and you're relying on these large acreage producers of our vegetables and our fruits and our nuts and seeds, and they can't produce anything because there's no water, you're going to have to rely on local farmers. You're going to have to rely on small farmers. You might even have to rely on yourself, right? Marin County actually was the first county in California to impose water restrictions. They just did that, right? So even water at home is going to be sparse. But at least if you can grow some of your own food varieties, you can partner with neighbors in your community, there are alternatives, you know, and I strongly recommend you looking into that. It's not too late to get some things planted out there. If you're not starting from seed, you can go to Home Depot right now and get some plant starts so that you can have some melons and some tomatoes, and you can, potentially, I don't know if it's probably too late to start growing any fruit, but you can get some strawberries. You can get some strawberry plants. And that's what the most recent Food Lane episode is about. It's about strawberries, toxic strawberries, and how the chemicals that they're using are impacting male reproductive health. So I encourage you, if you're a dude, or let me just say, if you have testicles, then you should definitely listen to that episode, like right now. Head over to foodslane.com, check it out. Thanks for listening to this PSA. I really hope that, I don't know. I don't even know what I hope, because California, even if you don't live in California, there's a good chance that at least half of what you consume, if not more than that, is coming out of California because of the agricultural economy there. So, yeah. We'll stay posted on that. I'll keep you posted on that as these things develop, but I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to this channel, to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Sign up for the newsletter on foodslane.com to get exclusive podcast updates. And remember to eat clean, to eat healthy, love your food, and I'll see you on the other side of the plate. Ciao.